Success Mantra is a program which features people, successful individuals from various walks of life. They are less known heroes who believe in their dreams and have conviction to live their full potential. Idols, icons, innovators who care to live every moment on their own terms. Welcome to another edition of Success Mantra. And today we have somebody really interesting, and he believes in creating, managing, and enhancing experiences. Yes, we have Ashish Athawle, who has 28 years plus experience in marketing and advertising. And of course, he is an actor as well, passionate one. More about as we discuss his various experiences in life. Okay, Ashish, welcome to the show. We are really delighted you're here, and we are looking forward to a very interesting discussion with you today.
Thank you, Sonali. My pleasure.
So Ashish, tell us about your journey from marketing, advertising, and being in the corporate to the acting sphere. We would want to know more about how it all happened.
All right. So I think except for one very prominent feature for me in life, which was my post graduation, which was my MBA. Uh, I don't think I had planned for anything. I mean, I do have friends, and I'm pretty envious, jealous of them, that they kind of have something in mind, they plan and they get it and kind of work towards it and all.
Right.
I think I have been the other way around. I obviously I wanted to do things, I wanted to be things, but it was never that I got a chance, or maybe I never tried hard enough to try and get something. What I probably did, and this was more of a default, not a design, was I got few things as I went along, and I tried to do things. I made things happen what I got, not the other way around.
Okay.
So, for example, I mean, I belong to Chhattisgarh. I mean, I was brought up in Chhattisgarh, Raipur,
Sure. Yeah.
which I think itself is in a uh, hindsight now is a bit of a interesting aspect of life, because further on in life one understood that that brings a different kind of richness to your understanding, especially for a marketeer, the kind of things that you tend to get into a default.
Right.
Different background, different experiences, right? That's what you bring to
True.
the table, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I am now. The interesting part is I am a dairy technologist by
Okay.
graduation, right?
Wow. Okay.
Which was way long back in history. I'm even trying to remember that. Uh, Dairy technology, yeah, this was the first. I was amongst the fourth. I was the fourth amongst the people who were the fourth batch. So that itself was a very different experience to start with, because it was a new sector. What
Right.
made me choose? No, I was like a regular general guy who had given what was known as pre-engineering test. I did not get enough marks to get into engineering, but this was something which was open, which I was offered. I said, यार ये कुछ अलग दिख रहा है, करते हैं. और उस समय का जितना बुद्धि था, plus my parents to guide me,
Right.
हमने 2+2 किया कि चलो ठीक है, कुछ नहीं हुआ तो हमारे एक मामा ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहते हैं, वहां पे डेयरी का अच्छा सेक्टर है, तो कुछ हो जाएगा वहां पे, करके देख
Wow.
लेते हैं.
Okay. Cool.
Because obviously, no, I mean, it was such a novel field that time. I mean, no way to know what exactly it is and what will it lead to. So
Sure.
whatever one could apply, understand, we did that. But the only thing that I mentioned to you that it was planned for me in life was my management, because somewhere class probably 10th, 12th, around that time, this thing I got in my head that doing an MBA gets you a job, because that was the biggest thing, if you remember, many
Yeah.
years back.
Right.
Unlike these days, and options were very limited. Either you were a doctor, engineer, or at best the most different thing what one can think of is doing a CA or architect or something like that.
True.
I was none of that. So
Sure.
I said, यार अब job के लिए क्या हो सकता है? And I said, and that's when I keep hearing about this from my some seniors or media. MBA करने से job मिल जाता है, अच्छा MBA करने से अच्छा job मिलता है. Equation clear था. So that is something that I was very clear about, and I did that. Okay, I like worked, those postal coaching and blah and blee and all. Finally got into, and I am so proud and happy that I am able to call myself an alum of Institute of Rural Management, Anand, IRMA.
Okay.
Different story, different track altogether. How, what, when, where, why. But I am indeed very proud and very happy that I am an element, because it has given me a lot. Probably a large part of my life today is Irma, due to Irma. Right. After Irma, what you do? You we used to get campus placements into organizations like, say, National Dairy Development Board, cooperative, because that's what the catchment, that's what it was meant for, NGOs and things like that. So I got my first campus. I remember it was in NDDB. That time they launched the Dhara oil cell, rather the Dhara oil brand, and I was offered a particular role in Dhara oil cell, what used to be known by that.
Right.
Okay, cut the long story short. Somewhere there was always an interest more in brand and marketing side, which is to do with the consumer side. Part of it was the glitz of it, because one knew that there was something about high fashion, high profile advertising, modeling, or things like that going on. So put together, there was a bit of a bit of an attraction towards that. So I could not sustain long in NDTV because it was not a typical marketing job. All right. I wish I could have probably learned more in the job that I was. But anyway, I switched to market research. 2 years I was in market research, and then I got my first advertising break, which was into what was known as Mudra communication at that point. Fairly significant and probably one of the best brands at that point of time. Also because of Mudra Videotech, which people at that time will remember, serials like Bunyad, etc., and the sign off used to carry that two hands crossed, and Mudra Videotech. People used to know Mudra by that. So anyway, put together, this is where, and again, very happy that I kind of started my advertising life there. Huge learnings, huge challenges, huge frustrations, I think, but that's what gave rise to good memories also, experience creation. Mudra to then Leo Burnett, a bit of a stint in Gulf as a marketing head for one of the automobile franchises.
Right.
Then was my longest stint in advertising, which was with a powerhouse of an advertising brand called Lolintas.
Right.
So I was with Lolintas between their Gurgaon and Bangalore office for close to 8-9 years. Last salaried job was with Reed and Taylor as head of marketing, which was the suitings brand.
Right.
All experiences, believe me, I may have been on the verge of crying at some point of time due to work, due to people, due to challenges. But hindsight, I think these are the best things that could have happened to me, because they made me richer. Not money-wise, I didn't get much anywhere, but experience-wise, they made me much more richer than I probably can ever imagine. So last salary job was with Reed and Taylor. This was still, I think, December 2011. Post that, I started my solo journey. Reason for it starting, part of the reason due to some problems with the company, instability there, and so on and so forth. So it was not an opportunity that I was looking at. Let me start something on my own. I'm dying to do something on. No, nothing like that.
Right.
It was because of these bit of an unstable kind of a nature of the company and how it was going and things like that. I said, okay, kuch ab karte hain, pata nahi kya karte, but kuch karte hain. And in such cases, because again, still 2011 was still not the time of so much of hype around entrepreneurship.
Right.
You did something on your own. I mean, did do something on your own versus entrepreneurship, the way that branding has happened now. So one became consultant. I mean, one became consultant to see how best one can use your learnings over a period of time for various contexts. And these were mostly small and medium brands. So yeah, that's the journey which has continued, which has taken various shapes. It has taken diversions. So over a period of time, we were, and I'm using the word we were a full-fledged consulting and an advertising firm. Partly due to business compulsions and also due to COVID, things have gone back to zero now. Working as we are still working together. The people who we were working together before COVID, but more as a project-based networking rather than overhead-based formal structure, so to say. So yeah, that's as far as the professional journey has been there. in between acting, to ask specifically about that, my parents were into amateur acting, in the sense, again, we seem to be a weird lot all put together. Both of them doctors, but we were Marathis. I mean, that's our mother tongue. We were Marathis in Hindi-speaking area, and within which a so-called backward state at that point of time, back of beyond, called Chhattisgarh. So my parents had this kida in their head that they kind of bunched up with some like-minded people there, and they wanted to keep Marathi culture alive in a Hindi-speaking state. Not that there were forces against them or something. No such jazz. Just the impossibility of it, which looks like to me that, I mean, how can you even do it? How can you think? But now that I know and I'm able to recollect, because that time it used to look like some I don't know what my parents are doing kind of thing. I mean, they used to be in their clinic till say 9 o'clock in the night, and then they used to do rehearsals till 12:30 in the night, and then they had multiple things that they were doing, organizing events and so on and so forth. So it looked bit of a madness at that point of time, but I am so very, I mean, awed by all these that happened, because whatever they could manage. I will try and explain one instance to you. What I mean by this is, I mean, there is let's say, I'm trying to, because there is a bit of a Marathi connotation there, I'm trying to make it a bit more general understanding wise, is that there is an Akhil Bharatiya Sahitya Parishad, which basically means the topmost conclave of literature in Marathi. They think of organizing that in a backup, which is traditionally a place in Maharashtra, kind of a domain, that it will happen in Pune, it will happen in Nagpur, it will happen in this place, kind of that. Now they decided to do it in a place like Raipur, Chhattisgarh, and they managed to do it. Now it seems such a huge kind of a task challenge, even from a thought to execution. So anyway, so they were, but I never took this acting bit seriously. Then they may have asked me to attend a couple of workshop or something, which I did, but more for age, friends, boys, girls, so on and so forth. Maybe that could have been the reason, but never, acting was never the reason. And it never kind of came up till maybe post graduation, when part of some jatra or some annual fest we did a couple of plays. I don't know. I don't believe in destiny, but there seemed to be some unexplained life. But I met this gentleman called Zafar Mohyuddin in the year 1999 during my short stint in Bangalore. He is a voiceover artist, and he's an engineer who left his Indian Air Force job for pursuing career in acting and theater and so on and so forth. 1999 I met, but it was just one meet. That's about it. After that, I came back to Bangalore again in 2005. 2007, I think I got in touch with Zafar Saab once again, but more for Eid Mubarak, Diwali Mubarak kind of context, nothing else. He remembered me, and I think 2008, 2009, he called me and said, I have a requirement for Marathi voiceover. You are a Marathi, will you do? So I said, I've never done, but I'll do it. I did. Okay, good enough. That time, now I remember, I had forgotten about it. Now I remember, after these many years, 12 years, he had asked me, Ashish, are you interested in theater? 2009, okay? And I must have said yes, because he saved my number in his mobile as Ashish Theater.
Right.
All right. So this was 2009. Cut to 2017, which is 8 years after this. One Friday afternoon, I get a WhatsApp message saying that, from Zafar Saab, saying that I am doing an open audition for my, probably the biggest play that I have done till now, is called Tipu Sultan Ke Khwab, which is written originally by Girish Karnad, and I have done the Hindi Urdu translation. I'm doing an open audition. Will you be interested in coming there? I said, "Theek hai." I mean, it was a Sunday afternoon, sitting jobless, nothing much in life to do. So I said, "Chalo, theek hai, karte hain." I went there, and I managed to disappoint him thoroughly. I know that. Why? Because of my Marathi language, he had this role of a Hindi to be spoken in Marathi kind of a tone, a Pune Subedar role in mind, which he made me read. And I do not have any anchor in Maharashtra. I speak probably as fluent a Marathi as anybody can, but I didn't have any anchor in Maharashtra. So I don't have that tone. I don't have that thing. So I'm sure I disappointed him a lot. But like other actors, he also made me read few other characters, paragraphs, and all that. And again, after 4 days, nothing happened. And then I get this message, which I fell off my chair because he, being such a nice and gentle soul, the question was, and actually, I remember the WhatsApp, and I probably will remember for all my life. Ashish, will you do Tipu for me?
Wow.
So the first thing that came to my mind was, what kind of question is that? Will you do Tipu for me? I I obviously said yes, and that was the start of this part of my parallel life, if I may. And all courtesy Zafar Saab. Yeah, so did Tipu, my first so-called probably one big role that I did. And then it's a small world there, so one thing leads to another. Yeah, so that's how my acting started.
That's
Sorry,
your
did I take
acting.
longer than what you
No,
had
no,
wanted?
no, not at all. Because it was a nice journey from your, MBA days to your corporate life to your acting life. So the only
Sure.
question is that your parents being doctors, you never had the desire to follow the same footsteps.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could have, because I think I would have been more successful in life in terms of monetary aspects and things like that. But no, that time, actually, tell you what, I mean, it was, I think, class ninth. I think that's when you used to select maths or a
Yeah.
biology stream, if I'm not wrong. I not scared, but I found it very hideous to do this, lab of cutting the frog and things like that. And at that age, your vision is only that much. I did not see, and I genuinely have a lot of respect for few professions in life, and doctor is one of them, because I truly feel that
Absolutely.
they are the closest to that supreme power, if anybody could have, because they have the power to change lives.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I mean, I wish I had that much intelligence at that point of time, but no, I did not. I did not.
Sure, sure. So really interesting, Ashish, great journey. You have taken every plunge that you could, every point in time it came into your life, right? So
yeah, I grabbed it. I think that's
yeah.
That's what I could say, hindsight.
True. So did it ever scare you that, you're stepping into a new domain and you're going to be up on stage and, like theater is even more scary, I feel, because you get immediate feedback. So how was that journey and how did it make you feel at that point in time?
Fabulous journey, if you ask me, from a preparation point of view and the learnings thereof. Because my biggest drawback till now in theater is that I am not able to memorize the lines in time well, so to say. And if you don't do that, then you don't have a life on stage. You should not, because you can jeopardize the whole production, right?
Right.
So that was probably the only constant fear that I had, and I still have anytime I go in front of a camera or on stage. But no, apart from that, was there a stage scare, stage fear? No, because I somehow instinctively enjoyed the process so much, and I think it must have been largely due to the encouragement that I got from Zafar Saab as a director, because he never made me feel like I am doing this for the first time. So what am I doing? I mean, yes, he did point out many things. Yes, we had, in the sense, he had to kind of tutor me on few things more frequently, but that was done in a way that it never made me feel that I'm doing something wrong, or why did I even think about you, or something like that. Maybe that was the reason. But to straightforward answer, no, not so much, except for my lines, which I hope I do remember, which I have managed to do it till now.
Wonderful. And if you have actually taken peak to peak in your life in various journeys that you have selected. So what does success really mean to you in context to your journey in life when you look back?
Tricky question. Because see, there is, I think it's a human, right? It's finally a human tendency to measure success in something which is tangible. If that being the case, I think I will not be on a good scale there in terms of tangible achievements, or so to say, what did I achieve in life and things like that, how many lives did I impact and so on and so forth. Probably not much. But I don't know. I mean, selfish way of looking at it, success for me is, do you feel good in doing what you do, and did you hurt anybody while doing that? If
Sure.
answers to both of them are comfortable for me, make me feel comfortable, I think I am successful. And I think this might sound a bit boorish, maybe a bit more, academic, philosophical, but I don't know. I can't explain it in better words. I mean, if I feel doing good what I'm doing, before doing, while doing, and after doing, I think that is success for me. Yes, there is a resultant of that which can then be measured, whether it is money, whether it is, uh, I don't know. I mean, some people do this social media, whether I got so many likes or not. Did I finally get a bigger role or not? Maybe yes, those are the resultants, right? But
Sure.
but the fact that success per se is not so much into these resultants for me, but it is more to do with my satisfaction with myself. In fact, in this light, I would like to point out that one of the uh, very known professional names in my professional life, he was interacting with me for something which was critical, and he was expecting me to be involved in that project with him and
Right.
wanted me to help him. But he had made a comment then. He said, Ashish, you feel too content. I'd never thought about this earlier. But he said, Ashish, with my experience, and he had gargantuan amount of experience, and I'm sure he must have read something which I did not. He said, Ashish, you look too content. I don't know whether that was said in a good sense or a bad sense, but yeah, I don't know what is wrong with that,
Sure.
because if if I feel content is what I would like to do further, isn't it? I mean, if I don't feel
Absolutely.
content, it is the way I look at it. All right. So yeah, that's, I don't know if I've been able to
Yeah,
explain my
absolutely.
point.
Because, that's one of the reasons why we started this program. The idea was that, are you living life on your own terms, right? That is what is success to us, and the motto of success mantra per se. And of course, all our mentors and coaches are some people who have towed that line. So that's the reason they are here and they are invited, and they have dared to dare themselves. So I think that's one of the reasons why we say that, how do you define success, and maybe bring in this awareness for the next generation, and not just have what is there in the societal norms.
Yeah, but I would like to put a word of caution. I mean, this sounds pretty romantic to say, live life on your own terms or not, but it is a very messy affair to execute, because it
Yeah.
is not straight line. It is not linear. It is not a paycheck at the end of 31st every month,
Yeah.
for sure. At least for me, it has never been.
Right.
It has not been for last few years. And that's just one of the aspects. But even otherwise, this whole thing about, I mean, you need a lot of other things to make sure that this succeeds, because you don't live alone in life, right?
True. True.
So, for example, I mean, I don't know whether it is apt or not, but I would like to say that I think I have my social support structure so good, so strong, because that is a critical part in this whole thing about living my own life, my way, kind of a journey. That is a very important part of it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I never had and probably will never have a VC in my life, but I think I have a VC in a different sense, where I have a sort of a very caring social system, my friends, my family,
Right.
who have most of the times never understood why I'm doing what I'm doing, but still supported me. Sometimes they've understood also. And I think that has made me go through this whole thing about I want to feel good about myself and what I do, business. Uh, does it mean that I abdicated some of my responsibilities, what I should not be doing? No, I don't think I did, because that is not something I would ever want to do to achieve that kind of a success for me. I would never want to neglect my surroundings. I would never
Right.
want to hurt anything while I am pursuing my journey.
Right. Uh,
So
like you said, that, like you have been very privileged to have the support of your friends and family, and of course, other people. And you literally come across as that magic man who can make anybody do anything. So that's what we have seen you as, because on a Sunday afternoon, you want all the boys to come and play cricket with you, you manage it. You want to go and do charity with, some kind of NGO work that you want to do. You get a buy-in from your, what should I say, friends, family, community, and you manage to do it. So how does this happen? As in, what are these traits or behaviors, or what is this instinct that you have within that you are able to accomplish these various things that you set out for?
I think, thank you for saying that. I never realized that it is all these things that you mentioned the way it is. But selfish interest, I think. No, seriously, because since you mentioned about cricket, let me just expand that on a bit. Because this was, I think, 2006, 2007. We were very new in this wonderful apartment complex where I've been staying since then, called Tata Sherwood. Wonderful place, everything. I mean, everything considered, people, aesthetics, everything that you. And I'm pretty blessed to be
Sherwood,
here. Yeah, so pretty blessed to be here. Now, playing cricket. Now, just one instance, I saw 2 or 3 elderly gentlemen. I mean, elderly meaning like maybe 30 years, 35 years, approximately that age. I saw them playing cricket, and I had recently came into Sherwood that time. So maybe a year or two hence, I saw that and I said, man, this is interesting. I never thought about this. I like almost every other child in India, I had also played cricket. I also like cricket. I also see life in cricket and so on and so forth. But it was a very pleasant sight to see 2 kind of pretty grown-up people playing that very rough form or very complicated form of gully cricket, like but they still were doing, and that was something pretty fascinating for me. I said, man, ye to acha lag raha hai kuch. And that kind of stayed in my mind. And then when I said ki ab mere ko khelne ki ichha ho rahi hai, ab kya kiya jaye, akele to khel nahi sakte aap, you can't play alone. So I floated this with those few people, 4-5 people whom I had seen at that point of time. I said, can't we make it regular? So they said, yeah, make it regular, but koi aata nahi hai. We tried and so on. I said, okay, I mean, I understand, wo bhi hota hai. But I think, I don't know, I mean, this is now all hindsight articulation, okay? That time, my goal was ki every Sunday, 8 o'clock, can I play cricket? That was the only driving force for me. What does one do to do that? We have to get people. Now, to get people, what do? You trouble them. So I still remember 2007 or 2006-7 when we started this. We never had this WhatsApp. At best, even Google groups. I don't know if we had that at that time. We had SMS, for example. So I still remember every Friday, because we used to play on Saturday also that time. So every Friday evening, advertising agency where you are supposed to stay in office at least till 12 o'clock if you are supposed. I never felt. I used to leave office at 7 also, 6 or 7 also. That's a separate topic. But on a Friday, I remember 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock used to be my regimen. I would SMS everybody whom I think would play. Hope we are playing tomorrow. See you at 8 p.m. and things like that. Prospecting. Right?
Yeah.
So that is how it started. Okay, you send SMS to 10 people, 3 people turn up. So then you start calling people at 8 o'clock in the morning. You wake up people. Was aa raha hai ki nahi aa raha, kal tu bola tha aayega. Like that guy will repent in his life ki main kyun haan bola. But anyway, so anyway, I mean that's how. But lucky, I'm very lucky that after this initial bit of it, managed to find these 12 to 15 crackhead people like me who are still interested, and we still do play cricket. So after so many years, Sunday 8 a.m. regimen, plus minus pandemic, we have managed to continue.
It just kind of came to my mind that every time you decided on something, you made it happen. So was it
because
your
I
marketing
got the opportunity
skill, or
no.
the sales skill that came into with the MBA, what should I say, background, or was it something which was there in you from your childhood?
It's never that. Like I said, I've never been able to rationalize. Now that you're asking me, the only pieces that I can put together is a selfish interest. I want to do
it
is what has made you do things. And then I think the instinct to do that gets shaped by all these external factors like MBA, marketing, so on and so forth. Possibly they are just enabler facilitators. They are not they're not the end. They're not. They're
drivers.
just the
Yeah.
means.
Awesome. And Ashish, you just mentioned something which is very interesting, that there is this common perception in corporates that if you're in office till 10, 11, you're working very hard, you're doing, like fabulous job, versus finishing, because, like as a professional, you still need to deliver what you have committed, right? Leaving early and managing your work-life balance and doing things. So how do you you also would be working with other professionals now that you're running your own show? What is your perspective on this area for youngsters as well as, leaders?
So work-life balance is the popular theme, so to say, which is what people talk about. So I won't get into that. The way I will see this is, like you said rightly, you need to deliver finally, right? I mean, and that's
Right.
where your deliverables are defined, your timeline is defined.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately or unfortunately for me, a large part of my life has been working with subjectivity in a subjective environment, also
Sure.
known as advertising,
True.
where you are supposed to deliver an advertising campaign, but as a servicing person, I don't create, in the sense I manage. I probably initiate, I conceptualize, I do the front ending part, but creating is somebody else. So it's the entire chain itself. I mean, right from the thought of advertising, what is advertising, to what does advertising deliver, there is a huge amount of subjectivity, which I think is unlike in any other field,
Sure.
so to say, because there are ways and means to tangibilize the achievements of other fields, but in advertising it is always subjective, because how do you know what is good? I mean, what is good for a creative person may not necessarily
Right.
be good for things like that. Okay, and this is no value judgment on anybody.
Yeah.
So in this kind of subjective environment, it only is played by the ear, because it's not a factory, thankfully, where your input output is fixed, that if this much input I put, this is the kind of output will I get, and this is the quality of output will I get. It is never that, and it should never be
Sure.
that in this business. So given this fluidity, given this subjectivity, I think what I've done is I've managed to play it by ear. I've been a subject of ridicule for many in advertising, because I was not a typical advertising guy, because uh, okay, this is typecasting, but I'll still get into it. So I don't drink, I don't smoke. That's why my reason to spend time with people are that much more limited. I mean, there are people who do socialize on these specifics. So put together, I was as probably or I am still the odd man out, and hence even if I had a job of giving a brief, I gave a brief. Sometimes that brief may have been good, sometimes that brief may have been bad. We may have had a round of discussion and challenges and things like that. But I don't know what to do after that. I mean, you are a creative person, you are supposed to do it. You want me to sit there and talk to you? If that's part of my facilitation job, I'll do that. But I won't be there just for the sake of it.
Right.
But that's my way of looking at it. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else to answer about your question. But I think if you are, see, it always, but more clear about that in my current role, which is my own show, so to say, since you mentioned that word show. Uh,
Yeah.
See, it is about intent. It
Right.
finally is, everything to me is about intent. What is your intent? If I have promised X, Y, Z to my client, which is what he is or she is expecting, I better deliver in that time.
Right. Right.
I mean, it boils down to that. And that is how I would like to then make sure that everybody else who is working with me, whether it is an external stakeholder or internal stakeholder, I will try and put in SOPs from the beginning, expectation settings from the beginning with the
Right.
client, with the other people, that this is how and this is when and this is how, where it should be. There could be variances, but that is what is management all about, right? Managing those
Absolutely.
variances.
True.
So
True.
I don't know if
So,
it's not a clear answer, but I hope there is something that you got from
yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, it's interesting that you mentioned that you don't smoke, drink, and both the professions, whether it's advertising, whether it's acting, I have seen professionals indulge in it, more because they say the creativity gets enhanced. So whether it is substance or whether it's anything else, you would be aware and exposed to it. That, people say, okay, it's part of my creativity. Unless I am 2 drinks down, I can't even think. So any thoughts on that? And any reason, any specific reason why you have kept yourself away from these two elements or such aspects in life?
One simple reason, never felt like. Blame me, my
There
thought
was nothing
process
else,
was.
as in there was no force from your peers or
No,
your
okay.
environment.
So let me confess. I did smoke. Like first 4 or 5 years of my, I think end of PG to maybe early part of my career, I did smoke because of those all the typical boy man kind of
Right,
associations of smoking,
right.
that I will create an impression and everybody else does it, so let me, and stuff like that.
True.
But after a period of time, and there were a couple of instances in personal life which I may not want to talk about right now here, is what I tried smoking and I quit smoking. I've quit smoking now for a good 20-25 years now. All
Wow.
right. But drinking, I didn't touch alcohol then.
Mentioned.
I don't touch alcohol now, except for 1 or 2 occasions when I was told that I should be having a wine because it is not technically a alcohol drink. So anyway,
Right.
no, I'm not. Okay, as far as but you say, when you ask me about the thought process of, some people say that unless two
Right.
drinks,
Right. Right.
I don't know. It is so personal a thing. I mean, you can't
You
generalize
can't
that. Maybe
comment
it is
on that.
true for it is true for that person, and that
Sure.
particular behavioral trait for him or her could be due to multiple reasons, and it will
Sure.
be very difficult for me to judge good or bad
Right.
of it here. But for me, I don't know what is creativity. I mean, I can't define creativity beyond saying that if I can connect two unconnected dots and make a comprehensive outline of it. Okay, uh, if few people need alcohol to join those two dots, so be it. I don't need yet. So
Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, so
there.
moving on, since like you have so many amazing accomplishments, which is the one which really stands out, and when you look back, you feel very elated about it and feel that, okay, this is worth cherishing even today?
I don't know, because in traditional sense there is no accomplishment which is an accomplishment for me. At least I've never felt, because it has been so much a part of life, day-to-day life, for me, that
Right.
it doesn't feel like that there is something that I have achieved. Maybe there are few many things that I may want to achieve, I would like to achieve, but there is nothing like an achievement. I mean, and the other way of looking at it is ki I lived life this long. I think this itself is seems like an achievement for me. I mean, all of us have different street that we have gone through.
True.
Uh,
Yeah.
to me, to even to be here in this at this stage talking to you about these things, that itself is an achievement for me. I mean, that's another way of looking
Beautiful.
at it.
Right. Excellent. Very well said. That every day, and of course during pandemic times, the fact that we are in a, what should I say, sane mind state as well as a health state, that itself is a great achievement as of today. Um, have you ever had any kind of setbacks? And if yes, then how do you deal with them every time anything doesn't go your way? How do you manage
Oh,
that?
oh, that sounds like 95% of the life. So, so
Okay. How do you
I
manage
don't.
it?
I acceptance, right? I mean, most of it is acceptance, and acceptance to the extent that I am wrong, and sometimes you are not wrong. Truly, things are beyond your control, and they affect you so much that you tend to find fault in yourself, you tend to find fault in others, but maybe it is nobody's fault and everybody's fault, so to say. But I think acceptance to me is the biggest thing. Acceptance of the situation, acceptance of the cause, acceptance of your life stage, acceptance of many things. I think acceptance to me is the biggest thing. I think, I don't know, that is how I can articulate the reasons, that you accept that yes, this is what it is, maybe this is what it should not have been.
Oh, nice. Acceptance. Yeah. That's when you can take some actions. Once you've accepted, you deal with it.
I mean, how can it happen to me? Right? By you are, which gift of God are you? How can it happen to me? I mean, for
True.
heaven's sake,
Yeah.
you are a human being, and if it can happen to anybody,
Yes.
so
It can. True.
yeah.
True. And so what's next for Ashish 3.0?
I don't know. I mean, acting seems interesting at this stage in life, and like my streak in my life of not aiming for something but still getting and making something good out of it, that still continues. I'm really really thankful, lucky to have been getting good roles, good people who trust me, interesting formats. Like recently, I did my first online performance, which was short play read on Zoom and
Right.
also on Clubhouse, which is a new medium, right? Again, thanks to Zafar Saab and other co-actors and all. Now, so this is something that I keep kind of finding it as I travel, and I'm thankful that I travel. I hope I get similar bigger opportunities in acting to work on. And yes, as far as professional life is concerned, I had never and probably will never aim for that I have to create 1,000 crore company, which probably has never been my objective. I hope that I'm able to not disturb any part of life, any part of people. I keep going. I have enough. I'm equipped enough to mentally, financially, socially equipped enough to lead a normal life. And in between, if I get these other, what is more like a life or a passion for me, if I can do that, I think I'll be thankful. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So amazing discussing your journey, Ashish. Thank you so much for making time. What is, what is the mantra or the message that you would like to share with youngsters today, and also especially during the pandemic times? What is this one thing which can help them achieve their goals and be happy in life?
Bapre, this is like a big thing. I don't know. I think hard-earned lessons, but act as in not act as an act on the stage kind of act, but take the first step. I mean, because most of the things we get stuck in those demons in ourselves, right? I mean, why should I will I be able to, why should I do it? If I do it, what will people say? And I'm saying for all parts of life. I mean, not differentiating between professional, personal and things, but act. I mean, take that first step, do it. I mean, that often cliched thing of Nike of just do it, but in real sense, actually take that first step, do it. Maybe you will fail, maybe you will get beaten dead hollow, but don't worry. I mean, you did, you took that first step, right? Because I think the learning in that is much more than that analysis paralysis of what you keep doing. I spoke to 10 people and 5 said yes and 5 said no, so what do I do? For heaven's sake, let those 10 people say 5 yes and 5 no, but that 11th person, which is you, what do you think about it? Yeah, I think that's
excellent. So I think this really is a great advice. Act, just do it is what really matters in life. Take that first step and experience for yourself what can
and things will unfurl. It is, and again, taking that first step is never the end. It is, I mean, in all senses of word, it is the beginning, and things will unfurl. Be ready. I mean, it's not that you've taken the first step, so everything is hunky dory now. No. Keep taking that first step every time.
True. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ashish. It was wonderful discussing your life, your journey, and looking forward to your great successes. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll take just a minute to thank you for creating this wonderful platform and providing opportunities for people like us. I mean, when I say people like us, in the sense that this is not a typical, like you've been, I think, trying to tell me and even otherwise, which is pretty amply clear. It's not a typical success as in, what is understood, but it is probably trying to see the other side of life also. So which I pretty, different, brave and pretty heartening to know that you're doing that, and I wish you all the success in whatever you're trying to do. And thanks again for this opportunity. It was my pleasure.
Pleasure. Absolutely pleasure.